දෙවි සුරින්දා බුදු බව පතා ඉන්දා ඔබගේ ගුණ කන්දා මෙන්න මම ඔබේ දෙපා වැන්දා තුසිත පුර භවනෙලා වැඩලා දෙවිඳු සැනකින් දුන්න පුද පිළිගනිමින් දෙන්නනා සෙත නාත සුරීඳුම්
नाथ श्री सर्वमंगल्यं यथा देवेन संयुतं सुगंध दीपधूतेन नाथ स्वामी नमो
Distinguished guests, it is now time to ceremonially officiate the academic sessions and the Vice Chancellor's Awards of the University of Ruhuna 2024, nurturing excellence in research, boosting empowerment, oriented advances in academic productivity. To so officiate the proceedings, we kindly invite the Chairperson of the Academic Sessions and Vice Chancellor's Awards 2024, Senior Professor Mangala De Silva, to deliver the welcome address.
Venerable Mahasangha, distinguished guest, good morning and heartfelt welcome to the distinguished gathering of minds, where academia meets excellence and innovation ignites the spirit of discovery. As the sun rises over the horizon, casting its golden glow upon us, we gather here today to admit the senior emeritus of University of Ruhuna. Here amidst the hallowed halls of knowledge, we are honored to host a symphony of brilliance as we welcome esteemed guests, luminaries of academia, visionary leaders, and the brightest mind of our generation. Today we embark on a journey of intellectual exploration, a celebration of scholarly achievements, a testament of the transformative power of education and innovation. So to each of you gathered here today, whether you are a seasoned scholar, an emerging talent, or a curious seeker of knowledge, I extend a warm and heartfelt welcome to the Academic Sessions and Vice Chancellor's Award 2024. May our shared quest for excellence and enlightenment illuminate the path ahead as we navigate the realms of academia and beyond. Welcome and let the journey begin. We are privileged to have the chief guest, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ruhuna, Senior Professor Sujiva Amarasena, grace us with his presence. We also extend a special welcome to our guest of honor, Deputy Vice Chancellor of the University of Ruhuna, Senior Professor Saman Chandane Dirivira. Your presence here today honors us and underscores the significance of this event. Additionally, we extend a warm welcome to the Registrar and the Bursar of the University of Ruhuna. And we are delighted to welcome the distinguished keynote speaker, Vidya Jyoti Emeritus Professor Janaka De Silva. And your expertise and insights are invaluable, sir. And we are honored to have you with us today. A special welcome to extend our esteemed emeritus professors, whose enduring contributions to continue to inspire and guide us. We also congratulate all the award winners for the outstanding achievements, which serve as a testament to the dedication and hard work. Our heartfelt appreciation goes to the orator of the academic sessions, Professor Saman Senevira, for his invaluable contribution to our academic community. In the esteemed academic of the University of Ruhuna, your commitment to excellence and innovation drives the success of our institution, and we are grateful for your dedication. Finally, a warm welcome to the non-academic staff members of the University of Ruhuna, whose tireless efforts ensure the smooth functioning of our university. To all participants, whether you are academic, a OD, or a guest, we are delighted to have you join us for the Academic Sessions and Vice Chancellor's Awards 2024 at the University of Ruhuna. Your presence here today reflects your dedication to academic excellence and also your commitment to advancing knowledge and scholarship. Let us come together in spirit of collaboration and celebration as we recognize the honor of outstanding achievements in research and education. Once again, welcome all and thank you for being part of this remarkable occasion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Senior Professor Saman Chandane Dirivira, the Deputy Vice Chancellor of the University of Ruhuna, is a constant support to us in all our endeavors, and we cordially invite our guest of honor, Senior Professor Saman Chandane Dirivira, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, to address the distinguished gathering.
Good morning to all of you, Venerable Mahasangha, Vice Chancellor, Chairperson of the Academic Sessions, Professor Mangala, and Keynote Speaker, Deans, Professors, Heads of the Departments, academic staff, all the academic staff members, Executive Officers, Registrar, Bursar, and dear students. So thank you very much for inviting me to this occasion as the guest of honor. It's a privilege and an honor. So let me share with you a few important messages today, this important day with you. The theme suggested, basically we can focus on academic productivity. Of course, that is a timely topic, and we can discuss a lot about that. And today, I think definitely you will discuss more on this. As we all know, even we have a positive environment for academic activities, academic productivity, but still we are having some problems. So let's try to understand what are our problems and how can we overcome some of these problems to be a better, productive academic. In that, I must say that there are constraints to give our maximum output. Maybe funding, maybe time, maybe workload, maybe politics, maybe some other factors. But out of all these factors, I am thinking now I have a concern of our own attitude, of our outputs. So we can measure the output as the research output, publications, teaching effectiveness, community engagement, and so many other parameters. We can measure our productivity. So each of us can now think what are our achievements and how our productivity affected and what we have contributed to the overall development of the university and the country. So as we all know, the human mind is originally, it is very creative. It's a very creative power inside our human brain. There is a very creative power. So as we know, but our progress is a little bit disturbed. Even we have a lot of knowledge in different fields, but invention and innovations are not common. So as I read, as I understood, we as academics should be multidimensional thinkers. This means that our mind should be able to think in different dimensions of a particular problem or aspect or discipline. Dimensional mind essentially has two components, as I understood. There may be some other views on this. The sound knowledge of the particular discipline or the subject, and also some related disciplines is very important component, the knowledge. And the openness of the mind and the flexibility of the mind is the other component. Some of us might have a very good knowledge, sound knowledge, but even if our mind is not flexible and not open, so I don't think we can use this knowledge in a productive manner. I don't think that we can apply this knowledge to find new avenues and to solve problems in the country is facing. And some might have a very flexible mind and a very open mind, but without sound knowledge, it is also not useful. So this means that we must consider these two important points: the sound knowledge of the subjects or the discipline, and also the openness and flexibility of the mind. So we have a lot of knowledge and we have a lot of research data with us. Sometimes we are not using our creative power because we are a little bit reluctant to take a risk or to formulate new hypotheses or new theories. Just we are afraid of the criticism or the failures. I think most of us, are doing well in these particular disciplines. I think we can do a lot. We can do a lot to invent, to innovate new theories, new methods, and to find out solutions to our problems. So I think, so this means that we have to develop our critical thinking powers effectively. And as we know, a lot of information is available nowadays with us. We all are affected by the plethora of information, heavy and huge. And the information literacy is much required actually, because we call in common terms MDM, the misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. I'm not going to define those things, as probably you know well. What are these MDMs? So all sort of these information, it's mislead our community, and it causes a lot of damage. And also the economic damage caused by these MDMs are huge. As academics, I think we should now think in a new direction how to handle the information in this new era. It's a digital era, information age we are talking about all the time. So by considering these disturbances, we can be more productive academics, I think. I appreciate your contributions in different fields and different disciplines. Of course, the governments or the policymakers they do not have a good touch with the research developments in universities. And we have a lot of data. They don't have a way to, or they don't want to get this data to make policies, new policies. So as an academic community, to make the productive efforts more prominent in the society, we can push the policymakers, or the governments, or the administrators to use this data, use this knowledge to apply in finding out solutions. We have been experiencing this for decades. Now it's high time to make a more community engagement, make our voice in the general community, to push the policymakers or the administrators to use this knowledge. Otherwise, our productivity sometimes cannot be seen in the society because of these problems. So this is the small message I need to share in this wonderful morning with you all. And I congratulate all the researchers whom their publications were selected to present in this prestigious forum. And I also congratulate the award winners, the Vice Chancellor's Awards, and there are other kind of awards. So their effort is recognized in this important forum. So let me congratulate on this. And also the emeritus professors today who will be honored on this stage for their academic excellence for the past decades to the University of Ruhuna and to the country and for the world as well. And I thank the organizing committee for their great effort, for Professor Mangala, Mr. Nimal, and their teams for making significant changes, necessary changes to the activities of the academic sessions in a productive way. I think this should be the way that we should see. We don't want to cling into the traditional or the conventional methods or ways or the procedures. Appropriately, we need to change everything we can to make it more beautiful, make it more productive. So thank you very much for inviting me to this occasion. I wish you all the best. Good day for you all.
Thank you very much, sir. We cordially invite Senior Professor Mangala De Silva, the Chairperson of the Academic Sessions and Vice Chancellor's Awards 2024, to present our guest of honor, Senior Professor Saman Chandana Edrivira, the Deputy Vice Chancellor of the University of Ruhuna, with a token of appreciation.
Thank you, sir. Distinguished guests, we now move on to the first stage of recognizing outstanding academic contribution across diverse fields at the University of Ruhuna. The Best Presenter Awards of the academic sessions of the University of Ruhuna, which was successfully concluded in 2023. To recognize the best presenters, we cordially invite the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ruhuna, Senior Professor Sujeeva Amarasena, to bestow the awards to our awardees this morning.
Technical sessions. Technical session, Agriculture, Environment and Biological Sciences, Session 1, Ms. J. M. Esnen Ratnapala of the Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Sciences and Technology. Technical session, Agriculture, Environment and Biological Sciences, Session 2, Dr. Dushan Kumaratunga of the Faculty of Agriculture. Technical session, Computer Science, Information Technology and Physical Sciences, Mr. P.A.D.S.N. Vijayasekara of the Faculty of Engineering.
Technical session, Economics, Finance and Management, Dr. B.L. Galhena of the Faculty of Management and Finance. Technical session, Education, Humanities and Social Sciences, Dr. Vijay Ratna Bohingamua of the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences. Technical session, Engineering, Technology and Applied Sciences, Session 1, Mr. B.G.V. Sanjaya of the Faculty of Engineering.
Technical session, Engineering, Technology and Applied Sciences, Session 2, Dr. N.W. Prince of the Faculty of Engineering. Technical session, Human Health, Pharmaceuticals and Medicine, Session 1, Ms. W.N.D. De Silva of the Faculty of Medicine. Technical session, Human Health, Pharmaceuticals and Medicine, Session 1, Professor H. Harshini Piris of the Faculty of Allied Health Sciences. Technical session, Human Health, Pharmaceuticals and Medicine, Session 2, Dr. T.D.K.S.C. Gunasekara of the Faculty of Science.
We now move on to the poster sessions. Poster session, Agriculture, Environment and Biological Sciences, Ms. S.A.V. Pulsari of the Faculty of Science. poster session, Computer Science, Information Technology and Physical Sciences, Mr. H.K.I.R. Kalhara of the Faculty of Engineering.
Post-session Engineering, Technology and Applied Sciences, Ms. K.T.A.G. Somaratna of the Faculty of Technology. Post-session Human Health, Pharmaceuticals and Medicine, Ms. N.H.G. Isurika of the Faculty of Allied Health Sciences.
Thank you, sir. We are indeed honored to have in our presence this morning Vidya Jyoti, Professor Emeritus H. Janaka De Silva, Professor Emeritus of the University of Kelaniya, Sri Lanka, as our keynote speaker today, an academic par excellence. To formally present the citation of our keynote speaker and therein invite our keynote speaker to deliver the keynote address, we cordially invite Senior Professor Mangala De Silva, the Chair of the Academic Sessions and Vice Chancellor's Awards of the University of Ruhuna 2024 and the Dean of the Faculty of Graduate Studies of the University of Ruhuna on stage.
Distinguished guest, it is with great honor and privilege that I stand before you today to introduce our esteemed keynote speaker for this academic sessions 2024, Vidya Jyoti Professor H. Janaka De Silva, who is a towering figure in the field of medicine and academia. His contributions have left an incredible mark on both national and international stage. Professor Janaka De Silva is a distinguished alumnus of University of Colombo, where he earned his MBBS degree, followed by an MD degree. His quest for knowledge led him to pursue Doctor of Philosophy degree at Oxford University, further enriching his academic repertoire and laying the foundation for his illustrious career. In recognition of his exceptional service and profound contribution to the field of medicine, Professor Janaka De Silva has been bestowed with the numerous honorary awards. Notably, he was awarded the Honorary Doctor of Science degree by University of Kelaniya, as well as the prestigious title of Vidya Jyoti, the highest tertiary national honor for science. Throughout his career, Professor Janaka De Silva had several esteemed positions, each marked by his unwavering commitment to excellence and innovation. As the Emeritus Professor of Medicine at the University of Kelaniya, he has mentored and inspired countless students and scholars, shaping the future of medicine in Sri Lanka and also in beyond. His leadership roles, including Professor and Chair of Medicine at the University of Kelaniya and Director of the Postgraduate Institute of Medicine at the University of Colombo, attest his visionary leadership and dedication to advancing the medical education research in this country. Professor Janaka De Silva's research contributions are nothing short of exemplary, with over 320 articles co-authored in index scientific journals and a remarkable H-index of 63. His pioneering work was earned him a place of the world's top 2% scientists, as recognized by the Stanford University and elsewhere. As the editor emeritus of the Ceylon Medical Journal, he continues to shape the disclosure and the direction of medical research in Sri Lanka. Beyond his academic achievements, Professor De Silva has held significant leadership roles in professional organizations and international bodies. As the president of the Ceylon College of Physicians and member of the committee in the World Health Organization, Wellcome Trust, National Institute of Health Research, UK. He has advocated for policies and initiatives that promote health equity and innovation on a global scale. In conclusion, Professor Janaka de Silva's remarkable journey exemplifies this transformative power of education, research, leadership in shaping a brighter future for the society. It is indeed a privilege to have him grace us with his wisdom and insights today, and I am confident that his address will inspire and enlighten all of us. Please join me in exciting a warm welcome to Professor Janaka de Silva to share his invaluable expertise and perspectives with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Mangala, for that introduction. Venerable Mahasangha, Vice Chancellor of the University of Ruhuna, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Deans, fellow academics, ladies and gentlemen. When Sujiva and Mangala asked me to talk to you for about 20 minutes about some insights on research, I thought I will talk to you about the importance of research mainly, and then break my lecture into two to talk a little about the research situation in our country, and for the younger people in the audience, how we should get about starting research. So first of all, the importance of research is clear. There's a very strong relationship between research and the overall growth of countries. A strong research culture is essential for the development of this so-called knowledge-based economy that we all talk about. And if you look at the output of research, if you want to measure the output of research in a country or an institution or even a person, publications and more really patents are the fundamental indicators of quality research output. This is a figure showing the GDP per capita on the x-axis and the number of publications per 100,000 population on the y-axis, and there's a clear linear relationship. So some people may say, no, that's because rich countries have more money to do research. That's why more research is being done. Others will say more research is being done and the countries are getting research. Whatever it may be, there is a very clear relationship between the development of countries and the research output in those countries. So the first part of my lecture will be on research in Sri Lanka, why do research, how to start, and how to end. Research in our country is hampered by low funding. Less than 0.2% of our GDP is spent on research and development. And this has led to a relatively underdeveloped research culture. And it is one reason why our universities have lower than expected international rankings. So for example, there are the two most prestigious international rankings, the Times Higher Education World Rankings and the QS World Rankings. And you can see there are only few universities that are in those two rankings. And I think, Vice Chancellor, it is high time that this great university also joins this table. The reason if you look at our research community, there are inherent weaknesses. There is an aversion to collaborate, a dislike among many of our academics to collaborate and join multidisciplinary research teams. That's a big problem. A thought block, suspicion, we don't want to get involved with them kind of feeling. And many people view interventional studies as unethical, especially in medicine. If you are doing a clinical trial on a new drug or a vaccine, there are so many people who say, oh my goodness, they are experimenting with human beings. But without such experimentation, there can't be progress. So these are two big weaknesses we have, among others, but also we have strengths. We have a pool of highly trained professionals and academics, some who have been exposed to research at centers of excellence here and abroad, and they are convinced of the importance of research and motivated to find solutions to our health and other problems. So this audience here is who I mean. You are motivated. That's why you are attending these sessions today. However, there has been some recent evidence of positive change in our research culture. So if you look at this graph, this is publications in Scopus Index journals, scholarly output by authors in Sri Lanka, not De Silva, who is working in California. This is authors in Sri Lanka. And you can see from 2018 to 2023, there has been a nearly doubling of the number of papers that have been published in journals indexed in Scopus. So that is a good quality publications. That is one. An even more satisfying factor about our research is that if you look at this measurement called the field-weighted citation index, it is the ratio of citations received by a country's research output as a percentage of the average number of citations received for global output. So, a ratio. The country's output, the citations of the research output from a country, citations of research output of the whole world. So the whole world's field-weighted citation index will be 1. So any country that has a field-weighted citation index above 1 is doing better than average. And you can see, although our output in citable documents is very low compared to most countries, our field-weighted citation index is at a very respectable level. And this is data which is incomplete for 2023. And this is not a fluke. This is not, only 1 year we have got this. No. We have been doing well throughout. From 2018 onwards, there is data that shows that our field-weighted citation index is very good. It is certainly higher than the world average, and it is certainly higher than our giant neighbor, India. So what does this mean? It means that although our output in quantity may be lower than in most countries, the quality of what we do, the little we do, seems to be good. So that is a thing for optimism for the future. The little that we do seems to be of quality. And what are the disciplines that contribute to this research output? I just want to point out that it is mainly the sciences. And it is high time for the social sciences and the humanities also to increase their presence in this chart. It's mainly the sciences that are doing well. So with that little background on our Sri Lankan situation, I want to answer the question, why should we do research? Why should we do research? Academics and professionals have a service function. That is one. So I am a medical academic, I work in the hospital. Then we also have a function to disseminate knowledge, that is to teach, and also to generate knowledge in our area of expertise. And generation of knowledge in our area of expertise is by doing research. So the three things: service, teaching, research. For me, it is teaching, research, and service, if you are an academic. Let us say that you are not interested in doing research. Let's say there's a young academic who gets his PhD or who gets his professorship and says, "Mata dan research ati. I'm not interested in doing research." For that kind of person, is there any point in trying to convince them to do research? And the answer is yes. Research is important for academics and professionals because doing research helps you to learn systematic methodology. For science, it is scientific methodology. That is the greatest thing you learn by doing research. My PhD was on some very rare cell in the intestine when I was doing my PhD. After I did my PhD, I have never seen those cells again. Never. I have done research in other areas because I learned scientific method when I was doing the PhD, and that helped me to do other research. So learning scientific method, systematic method is the most important thing you gain when you do research. And even if you don't do any research afterwards, it will enable you to read other people's research critically, not blindly look at the conclusion of their research paper and say, "My goodness, this is good." If you know better, you read the methodology and you say, "My God, this is a useless bit of research. His methodology is awful." So you learn, it enables you to read other people's research also critically. And this will assist in what we call informed or evidence-based practices. So that you can read a research paper, take what is good as good evidence, and include that in your practice. It helps performance in teaching because it helps you to keep up to date, new concepts. It helps you in research, especially when you're supervising research students. If you don't know research methodology, you can't supervise a research student. It improves your service function for doctors, evidence-based medicine to treat our patients. And then, of course, career development and promotion for academics. So research is important for all academics and professionals. So how should you start doing a research project for the young people? One slide. Most of the time, when you come to do research, it is influenced by an institutional priority. In my department, if someone came and said, "Sir, I would like to do some research on diseases in the muscle," I would say, "Go to another department because I am not interested." So sometimes it is on institutional priorities. What discipline the institution has a special interest in. The own choice of doing research comes when you get more and more senior and you have your own research teams. But whatever way you do research, there are two questions you have to answer before you start a project. Is what I am doing feasible? Make a me rate karanna puluwan deyakda? And is it relevant? Making ඇති වැඩක් තියනවද? to the institution, society, or globally. Feasibility and relevance. So we are a resource-limited setting. We don't have much money, very poor funding for research and development. So how do we do low-cost research that will benefit our people? By adapting. You have to adapt. Adapt to the low resource setting. And you do feasible research, being realistic. Don't try to compete with Western countries to do basic sciences, to find a gene for an illness, because they are far ahead of us. We can never catch up for the moment. Focus on problems that are relevant locally, but rare in the West. For example, snake bite. Suddha don't have snake bite. So if they are interested in snake bite, they have to come and work with us. And by doing that, you can easily get foreign collaborations when necessary, especially for some rare test or an expensive test that you want to do. So be feasible, be realistic when you start a research project. The second is relevance. Is what I am doing relevant? Sometimes easy, I am trying to find a cure for some illness, very easy, it's relevant. Sometimes difficult. And for young people who are trying to find out whether what they are trying to start is relevant, if you align your research to these sustainable development goals, it will immediately improve relevance. Because sustainable development goals aim to end poverty and deprivation, together with strategies to improve health and education, reduce inequality, stimulate economic growth, while tackling climate change and preserving our oceans and forests. No one can disagree that these are good things. So if you can align what you are doing to one of these SDGs, you can be sure that it will benefit society, country, and the planet. And there are 16 of them. Just have a quick look. No poverty, good health, reduce inequality. Who can argue that these are bad things? So if your research can be aligned to one of these, even if some senior papa tells you this is not relevant, you can say, look sir, you may not think it's relevant, but this is SDG goal 14. It is therefore definitely relevant what I am doing. And you can be confident that what you are doing is relevant. And if you look at what we have done in the past, most of our research falls into SDGs. They are aligned with SDGs. This is just a snapshot of the University of California Scopus publications for 5 months in 2022, and all the SDG goals are represented. Some more than others. The green is medicine, of course, but all the other SDG goals are reflected in this pie chart. And this is not only for science faculties, it's for all faculties. From that side, the Faculty of Commerce and Management Studies, the Faculty of Computing and Technology, Faculty of Humanities in the top row, Medicine, Science, and Social Sciences in the bottom row. Some more than others, but there is research that we do in all our disciplines which are aligned to the Sustainable Development Goals. So remember, Sustainable Development Goals when you are seeking relevance to what you are doing. And then you develop this research plan. And the most important thing, and the biggest mistake young researchers make, is that they do not acquire a wide knowledge on their area of research. They do a very simple, shallow literature survey. Doing a literature survey will help you Why do you do a literature survey? Not to fill in that little box which says literature survey. You do the literature survey because you want to find what are the unanswered questions in my field of study. මොනවද මේ අපිට පිළිතුරක් නැති තියෙන ප්‍රශ්න in my area of research. And then of these questions, what is feasible and relevant for me to try and answer? That is how you develop your research plan. And once you develop that, you get help from experts, seniors, supervisors, and so on. Because remember, all of us are bound by time, ethics, budget, and funding. So young people here who come to do a PhD or a MPhil, 2 to 3 years, you don't have all your life to do what you want. And here is when senior people can help you by saying, I don't think you can do this in 3 years, or don't worry, very easily you can complete this project in 2 years. And then funding. Everyone is scared about writing a grant proposal to get funding. If you have written a good research plan, you can very easily convert that into a grant proposal. That is a cut and paste into the squares that the grant giving agency wants you to do. So it's very, if you have a nicely written research plan, very easy to do a convincing grant proposal. You don't have to go for workshops on grant proposal writing. And then in the end, how should research end? By disseminating what you have found. The aims should be very clear for the young researchers. A journal publication as an original article for most of us. When you decide on that, look for an index journal. There are several indices, not only in medicine and science, even in social sciences and humanities. Then you can get a little more ambition and say, in these index journals, what are the journals that are of high quality? So high impact factor, normalized impact factor, SJR, and so on. And the message, the last line is very important. Beware of predatory journals, and I want to congratulate your Vice Chancellor and University for being the first to put out a white list of journals, the safe journals for our researchers to publish in. Vice Chancellor, sir, it has been copied by many other universities, including Kelaniya now. And is it difficult to get published in an index journal? Is it so difficult? Oh, no way, I don't want to spend. No, look at the numbers. Scopus has nearly 20,000 journals covering all subjects. Science Citation Index, more than 5,000. Social Sciences Index, more than 3,000. Humanities, more than 1,200. There are lots of journals which are indexed in which you can attempt to publish your work, rather than doing it in an unknown and hopefully never a predatory journal. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me summarize this brief talk to you. Research is important for all academics and professionals. It improves service, teaching, and supervision. I hope I have convinced you of that. It is important for career development, the reputation of the institution, for example, in rankings and so on, and national development, because developed countries get developed when they generate more and more knowledge. There is an improvement in the Sri Lankan research output, though it's slow, but what we do seems to be of a satisfactory quality. And for the young in the crowd, remember that high quality research needs careful preparation, attention to detail, commitment to what you are doing, and some funding. Whatever you do, make sure that it is relevant and feasible. Adapt to the resource-poor setting. Remember sustainable development goals when you're looking for relevance. and in the end, an original article in an index journal, or maybe a patent or a book by a reputed publisher will be good indicators that your research is of high quality. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We cordially invite our chief guest, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ruhuna, Senior Professor Sujiva Amarasena, accompanied by the Chairperson of the Academic Sessions and Vice Chancellor's Awards 2024, Senior Professor Mangala De Silva, to present our keynote speaker, Vidya Jyoti Professor Emeritus H. Janaka De Silva, with a token of appreciation.
Thank you, sir. Distinguished guests, we have now arrived at another seminal element of this morning's proceedings, the bestowing of the Vice Chancellor's Awards 2023 at this prestigious ceremony of the University of Ruhuna. The presenting of the awards will take place upon the reading of the academic citation of each recipient by their respective Dean of Faculty, after which the award will be officially presented by the Vice Chancellor.
I cordially invite the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ruhuna, Senior Professor Sujiva Amarasena, our chief guest, on stage. I have the pleasure of inviting the Dean of the Faculty of Engineering, Dr. H. Chitral Ambavatta, to present the citation of the most outstanding scholar, Professor G.G. Tusharatamindra.
Good morning. As Dean of the Faculty of Engineering, it is my great pleasure and also honor to read the citation of Professor G.G. Tusharatamindra to be awarded the most outstanding scholar of the University of Ruhuna. Professor G.G. Tusharatamindra is a full professor in Civil and Environmental Engineering attached to the Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering, University of Ruhuna, and has more than 2 decades of teaching and research experience. He is also a specialized engineer in the field of water and environmental engineering. Professor Tusharatamindra was educated at Diyatala Mahavidyalaya and Bandarawela Central College. He earned his bachelor's degree in civil engineering from the Faculty of Engineering, University of Peradeniya in 2002. Upon graduating from the University of Peradeniya, Professor Tusharatamindra immediately started his academic career as an instructor at the Faculty of Engineering, University of Peradeniya in 2002. In 2005, he received his Master of Engineering degree with a specialization in environmental engineering and management from the Asian Institute of Technology, AIT, Bangkok, Thailand, with a GPA of 3.93 out of 4, and becoming the top researcher in his batch. In 2008, he completed his PhD in urban environmental engineering at the University of Tokyo, Japan. Then he worked as a postdoctoral researcher at the Environmental Center, Science Center, University of Tokyo, for 1 year. Professor Tushara Chaminda then joined as an expert researcher from JICA-funded international project, Research and Development for Water Reuse Technology in Tropical Regions, under the University of Tokyo, and engaged in this international project for 3 years until the end of the year 2011. Then he joined the Faculty of Engineering, University of Ruhuna, as a senior lecturer in February 2012. He also worked as a visiting research professor at the University of Tokyo, Japan, in 2022, and as a contract senior lecturer at the Southeast University of Sri Lanka from 2019 to 2020. Accordingly, he holds several positions as a visiting professor and a researcher at various academic and professional institutes in Sri Lanka and other countries. Professor Tushara Chaminda's primary research interests are water and environmental engineering, with emphasis on emerging pollutants in urban waters, antibiotic resistance bacteria and pharmaceuticals and personal care products in waters, fate and transport of microbial contaminants in soil and groundwater, water quality and air quality monitoring and modeling, green technology for sustainable buildings and cities, sustainable water management for urban areas, etc. Professor Tushara Chaminda demonstrates a strong publication record. He boasts a portfolio of over 150 scientific publications, including international journal papers, book chapters, and contributions to international and local conferences. Furthermore, he has authored and edited several international and local scientific books, editorials, and news articles. His research has significantly impacted the field with an H index of 19 and an I-10 index of 24, with more than 1,600 citations. Professor Tushara Chaminda has also received numerous global and regional awards for his research achievements in recent years. These accolades include the prestigious Award for Asian Young Professional in Water Research in 2012, the Sri Lanka President's Awards for Scientific Publication on 3 occasions, the Merit Award for Scientific Publication in several years awarded by NRC, and several other research awards for best papers, best oral presentations, and best poster presentation in various international and local conferences. He has been actively involved in various international research projects, collaborating with researchers and scientists from Japan, China, India, Australia, Thailand, Indonesia, and many more. Professor Tushara Chaminda is also a governing member of Sri Lanka National Committee of the International Water Association. Furthermore, he serves as the Sri Lankan academic representative for the Asian Network for Environmental Research and Energy in South Korea. Additionally, Professor Tushara Chaminda is recognized as accredited professional by the Sri Lanka Green Building Council. He has also been working collaboratively with the industry as a specialized engineer and has contributed to several national projects in the field of water and environmental engineering. Professor Tushara Chaminda also actively contributes to the academic and scientific community by serving as an editor and reviewer for numerous international journals, as well as being a member for international scientific committees, chairpersons, Keynote, and plenary speaker for various international conferences. According to the AD World Scientist Ranking 2024, Professor Tushara Chaminda has been listed as one of the top 10 scientists at the University of Ruhuna and the number 6 scientist in the field of civil engineering in Sri Lanka. The Vice Chancellor's Award for the Most Outstanding Scholar in 2023 is awarded to Professor Engineer G.G. Tushara Chaminda.
Thank you, sir. I cordially invite the Dean of the Faculty of Medicine, Senior Professor T.P. Veeraratna, to present the citation of the most outstanding young researcher, Dr. C.L. Fonseca.
Chaturanga Lakmal Fonseca obtained his MBBS from University of Ruhuna in 2011 with first class honors and 6 gold medals and prizes for exceptional academic performance as an undergraduate. He chose to complete postgraduate studies in internal medicine and received 2 gold medals for his best performance in MD medicine examination conducted by Postgraduate Institute of Medicine in 2017 and was awarded Best Student of the Year. He was awarded a prestigious Commonwealth Scholarship in 2016 to pursue higher education in the University of Oxford, UK, in molecular medicine and immunology at University of Oxford, and he obtained his PhD in 2022 on a thesis on molecular mechanisms leading to severe dengue infection. At present, he is conducting research on tropical diseases and antimicrobial resistance. He has published 31 full manuscripts and 20 abstracts and posters. He has won several research awards both locally and overseas. Apart from academic achievements, he has excelled in sports arena in the university at national and international level. He is a recipient of university colors in table tennis and captained the Sri Lankan University table tennis team to represent Sri Lanka in the World and Asian University Games from 2007 to 2010. He is a member of the Oxford University table tennis team and was awarded Oxford University Colours in 2021 for the sports contribution at university and the inter-university level in the United Kingdom. Dr. Lakmal Fonseca is currently serving as a senior lecturer in the Department of Medicine, Faculty of Medicine, University of Ruhuna, and an honorary consult physician in the teaching hospital, Karapitiya. This year's Young Researcher Award is awarded to Chaturanga Lakmal Fonseca at the University Academic Sessions.
Thank you. I cordially invite the Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture, Senior Professor Sudas D. Vanyarachi, to present the citation of the highest recipient of grants, Senior Professor G. Y. Jayasinghe.
It is my pleasure to introduce Professor Guttila Yugantha Jayasinghe as the winner of the Vice Chancellor's Awards for the most outstanding promoter of international relations and the highest recipient of grants. So I'll be reading both citations together. Professor Jayasinghe received his BSc Honours degree in Agriculture from the Faculty of Agriculture, University of Ruhuna in 1998, MSc in Applied Microbiology from the University of Kelaniya in 2003, MSc in Environmental Science and Technology from the University of Ryukyu, Japan in 2007, and PhD in Agricultural Science from the Kagoshima University, Japan in 2010. Professor Jayasinghe joined the Department of Agricultural Engineering, Faculty of Agriculture as a lecturer probationary in 2002 and was promoted to the post of professor in 2013. Professor Jayasinghe is currently a senior professor at the Department of Agricultural Engineering and Environmental Technology, Faculty of Agriculture, University of Ruhuna. His work spans across environmental science, waste management, climate change, green infrastructure, and disaster management. He has made a remarkable contribution to the development of the Faculty of Agriculture and in promoting international relations during the last 3 years through his involvement in following international projects as the coordinator from the University of Ruhuna. Fountain stands for Fostering Sustainable University Industry Techno Entrepreneurial Collaborations and Innovation in Asian Universities, funded by the European Commission. This project aims to develop university industry collaborative frameworks, a global agro-industry forum, and university industry engagement camps to enhance the student mobility and degree program recognitions. 10 universities from Sri Lanka, Thailand, Lithuania, Estonia, and Sweden are involved in the project, and the project is led by the Faculty of Agriculture, University of Ruhuna. SECRA stands for Strengthening University Enterprise Collaboration for Resilient Communities in Asia, again funded by the European Commission. This project aims at tackling the often ad hoc, episodic quality of university enterprise collaboration in the field of disaster resilience in the project's partner countries in Sri Lanka, Thailand, and the Philippines. 13 universities in Sweden, Estonia, United Kingdom, Thailand, Philippines, and Sri Lanka are involved in this project. BRITE stands for Building Resilience in Tropical Agroecosystems, again funded by the European Commission. This is an Erasmus Plus capacity building for higher education project, and the aim is to develop an international MSc program in building resilience in tropical agroecosystems. The project plans to build the capacities of all targeted higher education institutions in order to strengthen their research and innovative capacities to tackle the challenges associated with building resilience in tropical agroecosystems. The project is led by Faculty of Agriculture, and 8 other universities are involved. BEC stands for Integrating Education with Consumer Behavior Relevant to Energy Efficiency and Climate Change at Universities of Russia, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh, again funded by European Commission. This project aims to upgrade curricula of BSc, MSc, and PhD programs in Russian, Sri Lankan, and Bangladesh universities by adding 16 new multidisciplinary, adaptive, recognized, and certified MOOC, that is Massive Open Online Courses module, to enhance the quality of relevance of education in universities. 14 universities are involved in this project, including 3 Sri Lankan universities. So as the coordinator, he has been involved in international research activities for the last several years, and he has been involved in 25 plus international conferences, workshops, symposia, training programs in these projects. And the link programs, collaborative research projects, MOUs developed with more than 30 international universities in European Union, the United Kingdom, Lithuania, Estonia, Sweden, Poland, Japan, Australia, Hungary, Romania, Thailand, Bangladesh, Indonesia, and Philippines. And more than 100 scientists are involved in all these projects. And he has made several academic visits during the last few years to UK, Lithuania, Estonia, Sweden, Bangladesh, Thailand, Philippines, and for various project activities. Now the citation for highest recipient of grants. Professor Jayasinghe has received funds totaling euro 1.7 million, approximately as follows. Fountain, 718,000 euros, SECRA, 69,000 euros, BRITE, 903,000 euros, BEC, 69,000 euros. The total is approximately over 1.7 million euros, out of which the fund allocation for University of Ruhuna is 573,000 euros. So Professor Jayasinghe has successfully secured funding totaling over rupees 180 million at today's exchange rate to the University of Ruhuna. Professor Jayasinghe, who previously won the Vice Chancellor's Award for the Most Outstanding Scholar, is known for his dedication to teaching and mentoring of the next generation of scholars. His commitment to fostering a learning environment that encourages curiosity, critical thinking, and passion for discovery is truly commendable. With the appreciation of his remarkable contributions in promoting international relations and securing grants, let me now invite the Vice Chancellor to present the 2 awards to Professor Jayasinghe. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It is with pleasure that I invite Senior Professor Mangala De Silva, the Dean of the Faculty of Graduate Studies, to present the citation of the most outstanding student inventor or innovator, Mr. K.G. Samararatna.
Distinguished guest, so I have the honor of recognizing an individual whose journey from academic excellence to groundbreaking innovation exemplifies the very essence of dedication and ingenuity. Born and bred with the spirit of curiosity and thirst of knowledge, Mr. Kanishka Gavinda Samararatna embarked on his educational odyssey at Mahinda Vidyalaya Palmadulla and continued to flourish academically at Sivali Central College, Ratnapura. He pursued knowledge of led him to the halls of University of Ruhuna, where he delved into the complexities of physics, graduating with the distinguished degree in physics specialization in 2017. Throughout his undergraduate years, Mr. Samararatna's mind gravitated towards innovation and exploration. In 2016, he unveiled his pioneering spirit with creation of portable mini weather station, setting the stage of series of groundbreaking endeavors to come. His internship at the National Aquatic Resource and Development Agency, NARA, bore witness to birth of a prototype sea level detector, showcasing his ability to merge technology with environmental stewardship. Venturing into the cosmos of astronomy, Mr. Samararatna's passion for discovery only intensified. His endeavors culminated in the development of computerized driving system for a locally crafted Newton telescope, a testament to his commitment to pushing the boundaries of scientific exploration. Venturing into the cosmos of astronomy, Mr. Samararatna's passion for discovery only intensified. His endeavors culminated in the development of computerized driving system for a locally crafted Newtonian telescope, a testament to his commitment to pursuing the boundaries of scientific exploration. Transitioning seamlessly from academia to the professional realm, Mr. Samararatna's tenure as a demonstrator at the Department of Physics heralded a new chapter of research and innovation. His contribution to the fabrication of telescope optics and the creation of wide-field telescope clusters underscore his unwavering dedication to advancing the frontiers of astronomy. In 2019, Mr. Samararatna's trajectory took a transformative turn with his pivotal role in endeavor of the astronomy research team of Department of Physics, University of Ruhuna, funded by the head operation. His pioneering work and fabricating commercial-grade reflector telescopes, innovative processor architecture has not only generated the institutional recognition, but also positioned him as a trailblazer in the field of astronomical instrumentation. Furthermore, he advanced his process to fabricate the commercial-grade reflector telescopes and relevant accessories, which is currently working on manufacturing a large-scale introducing a local market. University of Ruhuna has already signed an MOU with the Institute of Astronomy Sri Lanka to commercialize these products. At the same time, a trademark has been applied for these optical instruments. As we stand on a precipice of discovery, Mr. Kanishka Govinda Samararatna's unwavering commitment to the excellent service as a beacon inspiration for the generations to come. Today, we acknowledge not only his remarkable achievement, but also the limitless potential of the human spirit transcend boundaries to redefine what is possible. So please join me in welcoming and honoring Mr. Kanishka Govinda Samararatna, a visionary innovator and beacon of inspiration in behalf of the Faculty of Graduate Studies.
Thank you, sir. With the awarding of the Vice Chancellor's Awards, it is time once again to be enthralled by a cultural item this morning. Please welcome on stage the students of the Faculty of Medicine.
Distinguished guests, we have now arrived at a momentous instance in the history of the University of Ruhuna. For the very first time, we are honored to award the University of Ruhuna Tier 4 Star Awards 2024 at this special occasion. The Transparent Research Performance Scheme to recognize researchers in the university system, as recommended by the University Grants Commission of Sri Lanka, is based on the motivation of academic staff members of universities towards impactful research performance. This national level recognition, as proposed for initiation by the Faculty of Agriculture, is being implemented here today, encapsulating outstanding researchers across all faculties of the University of Ruhuna. These prestigious awards are awarded once in the lifetime of the respective recipient and serves as both a recognition and impetus for outstanding academic contribution. I cordially invite the chief guest, our Vice Chancellor, Senior Professor Sujeeva Amarasena, on stage to present the inaugural University of Ruhuna Tier 4 Star Awards this morning.
The University of Ruhuna Tier 4 Star Award is awarded to Senior Professor Chair Disna Ratnasekara of the Faculty of Agriculture. The University of Ruhuna Tier 4 Star Award is awarded to Senior Professor Mangala De Silva of the Faculty of Science. The University of Ruhuna Tier 4 Star Award is awarded to Professor G.G. Tusirachaminda of the Faculty of Engineering.
The University of Ruhuna Tier 4 Star Award is awarded to Senior Professor G.Y. Jayasinghe of the Faculty of Agriculture. The University of Ruhuna Tier 4 Star Award is awarded to Professor K. Masakorala of the Faculty of Science. Thank you, sir. And congratulations to all our recipients of awards this morning at the Academic Sessions and Vice Chancellors Awards 2024.
It is indeed with pleasure that we invite a pillar of strength and support to the University of Ruhuna, our Chief Guest and Vice Chancellor, Senior Professor Sujeeva Amarasena, to address the gathering.
Venerable Mahasangha, Keynote Speaker Vidya Jyoti, Emeritus Professor Janaka De Silva, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Deans of Faculties, Award winners and recipients of Emeritus Professor awards, members of the academic staff, and ladies and gentlemen, let me first thank the Dean of the Faculty of Graduate Studies and the organizing committee for inviting me to be the chief guest and address you this morning. And also, let me thank them for organizing this event in such a wonderful manner where we progress smoothly without any disruptions and going adhering to time without much or no technical problems. When we approved this theme in the Senate, I didn't realize that it was such a complicated and a complex theme. Nurturing excellence in research, boosting empowerment-oriented advance in academic productivity. Obviously, some terms are easy to understand, like nurturing excellence in research. But boosting empowerment-oriented advances in academic productivity through that is a very complicated issue. So I thought, okay, let me not talk a lot on that because I think that's based purely on applications of research and how we progress on those. But look at academic productivity. So, academic productivity is a multidimensional process that involves teaching, learning, social activities, research, national and international intellectual contributions put together in measuring productivity of a person. And there are some easy to measure or measurable items in that, and also difficult to measure areas. As our keynote speaker already mentioned, research and some indicators of good research outcomes and outputs are measurable, like number of publications, SCIE publications, and so on and so forth. Like research articles, citations, H-index, impact, those are measurable. Teacher learning activities, some are measurable. However, I think it is pretty hard to measure community engagement and social activities. It's not easy. We have introduced, say for example, the attendance at convocations for senior lecturer grade 2 promotions. I just asked that question from every provisional lecturer because I have data on that of academic staff. So that changed the behavior of provisional lecturers. Most of them come now for convocations, and our convocations are very well attended. A slight change of behavior with some measurable indicator. But I think it is not a social activity. It is a commitment and an academic responsibility to attend the convocation. It's not a social activity. So, what do we do as institutions to measure or count for academic productivity? In the long run, if you want to really assess the academic productivity, then we must be able to measure all the contributions of an academic in every year, like research and teaching, learning, and everything else. And I was just thinking down while sitting there when Vidyajyoti Professor Janaka Silva was delivering his lecture, how difficult it would be for us to go back to his career and measure his academic productivity today over a span of good 40 years or more. And I can let you know how hard it has been, the work he had done over the last 40 years. At least in early years, I am very well aware. I have met him a long time back, maybe good 50 years back. But I was also his house officer in Ward 41 in National Hospital, or then General Hospital, Colombo. in 1985 to 86. I'll tell you, we were working in the professorial unit under very well known professors, Professor Dharmadasa, Professor Risu Sharif, and Professor David Chamugam, late Professor David Chamugam and late Professor Dharmadasa, and few others. He was the only registrar, the middle grade person in our ward. We were looking after a 60-bed male ward with more than 100 patients every day, and I think 40-bed or 48-bed shared female ward, of course, with flow patients as well. And we had 4 house officers. So 4 house officers, and I was one of them, and 1 registrar, and many consultants. Fortunately, it was number 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the merit list who were house officers. And a rare feat, I think we had 3 Amarasenas there. Right? They are not related to each other. Right? Except. Work started at 6 o'clock in the morning, or before that. And it was very hard without breakfast. And if we were fortunate to have breakfast, if at all, if on some days, and going for lunch at 3 o'clock, we get a cup of tea. So work ethics and hard work, we learned that way. And I am sure he is there today in his own position because of the work he did. I know he did, despite all that, he did his research on, I think, esophageal varices. We all contributed for that as helpers. So that's how he came to his position today. And I think if we can measure his academic productivity using his history, that probably would set gold standards for all of us. And I will stop there on that. So, what is our problem as institutions? Most universities are teaching and learning universities. And actually research is not in the profile of many universities, but some are only research universities. So it depends on the profile. The output of academic productivity would be dependent on profiles of the universities. And no indicator is perfect to measure academic productivity. And we do have some measures and indicators. And there is considerable variation due to cultural issues and work ethics. And for example, they visited Cochin University of Science and Technology last year. We saw every staff member, both academic, non-academic, marking attendance using biometrics. And of course, you are accountable. You can go for your research outside the university, but still you are accountable for where you are going to be, and so on and so forth. Productivity as a measurement of effective learning with conceptual understanding of what students learn is a lot more difficult task to measure from the academics point of view. Of course, it is easy to measure on the numbers of students who complete the entire course. We know the attrition rate is very low, 1%, maybe less than 1% in most universities of Sri Lanka and in most courses. So, using that may be a good indicator, but still probably will not measure the academic productivity properly, or probably there will be no universal agreement on that. What about research? Of course, there are many things that you can measure. Publications, high status, peer-reviewed index journals, publication race, and that which has led to a publication race, like arms race among universities and academics. And of course, limited by the English language, which is being used as a global language for scientific communications. And we have become academic soldiers who are fighting this battle. So what is at stake? What is at stake is what I think some of those things are pointed out by Professor Janaka Disilla: placement in global university rankings, allocations from government, grants, national prestige, and ability to attract best professors and students to be a preferred place of work or preferred place of study. So those are at stake today as a result of this culture. Of course, these things are measurable. Science Citation Index expanded, or Web of Sciences and Scopus on equivalent large number. However, we have now realized that a lot of journals are there, as Professor Janakrisla mentioned, but some of those indices are penetrated by predatory journal industry. So be careful, even with indices. And payment schemes for indexed and for English publications for some countries are there. Like for example, China and Russia. Some universities have adopted payment schemes for academics who publish in English and publish in index journals. Sometimes the entire payment could be a monthly salary. And they discourage publishing in Chinese or local languages, Russian language, by giving half the incentives for the journals publications that are given for English and SCI publications. And there are some schemes in some African universities where the point schemes are given for professors, academic research professors. You got to earn this number of points based on your publications and not on your books, only on SCI or a social science index, citation index journals. And most of these don't give any value to books. But we all know, we all learn through the books. It was a traditional method of knowledge dissemination. And I think this remains still a very valid and very widely used tool for dissemination of knowledge in social sciences. So not giving that recognition for books may be an issue for measuring academic productivity. So we have a huge area to talk and have a dialogue on. Brazil, Russia, China, Korea, Japan have a lot of good journals published in their own local languages. And then those journals may not be recognized for schemes, payment schemes and promotion schemes. One of the biggest challenges that all of us are facing today is anarchy created by, in the publication industry, created by revolution of technology in mass communication, in providing mass higher education. So we have a huge publication industry, obviously penetrated by fake or predatory journal industry, and not regulated and not governed, causing anarchy in this entire area. So how do we separate that? Do we have the right tool to do this today? Are we doing the right thing? We are still debating in University of Ruhuna in our right for like Senate and so on. But it is something that we should continue to engage in a dialogue with and work for betterment of the entire higher education system and recognize academic productivity is an important concept for future development of higher education in Sri Lanka. So books and journals have a less important place, but it was the method of communication before the journal industry multiplied by numbers. And there are vanity public, the original journal industry index journals was done by high-rank institutions, high-status academic institutions with reputed publishers, almost maintaining a monopoly with high prices for access. And all of us faced that problem at some point during the last 4 decades. And this had become little easier with the current expansion of ICT knowledge. And it has also created the other side of this, the research productivity is a valid measure for academic productivity in developing countries as well as developed countries, which I think Professor Janakrisla touched in his presentation. So we do have underfunded research and development arena in our entire country. However, we can work still with collaborators from other countries and local partners to enhance funding. But despite that, I think to catch up for 2% of GDP on research and development will be a hard task for us. So, will we use the right indicators to measure productivity? if you use that alone for academic productivity. Right. Community engagement. How do you, is this important for academic productivity? How do you measure a person's contribution to social development, for community empowerment through knowledge from the universities as an indicator for academic productivity? And we do not have the right indicators for that. At this moment, I'm sure all of you are happy that we have now gone beyond one step from our workload and academic accountability model to a total workload model. And I hope at the end of review in another year's time or so, we will see the contribution in social development in every faculty as a measure or as a part of the total workload model, and hopefully one day we will be able to measure that output for academic productivity. But I do understand from today's point of view, it is not easily measured. You can probably measure the output like the number of projects. Impact is a lot more difficult, it will take time. For example, if Department of Sociology is assigned to a village in Madhavat or Asandiniya on preventing or minimizing or reducing the number of drug addicts or heroin addicts in that village, to do work within that village, and the committee will take years to get the measurement out. So that's a problem. And I was thinking how to measure the output or how to measure the productivity in a project that it did, Social Reconciliation Center of University of Runa did last year, where we invited University of Jaffna students, 50 of them, and staff members to stay in our own houses and participate in social activities to improve reconciliation and understanding of communities in December last year. And I think it is pretty hard to measure that. But it is an important contribution by a university. And I don't know how we will be measuring the impact of the proposed big match between University of Runa and University of Jaffna next weekend. Right? So it will, and they will be coming in buses, in numbers, and they will be staying in our own communities, in houses. And how will that change the behavior and attitudes and thinking, including political thinking of our own communities, grassroots level communities, in time to come? So they are difficult to measure, but these are part of academic productivity. Of course, impact may be different from the activity. Activity definitely should come into the academic productivity, but the impact will be difficult to measure, and it will take time, and it will be a measure. But one day it's a change of society and its attitude. So and it will become a lot more important when you do applied or interventional research. So assessment of academic productivity is difficult, but it is an important issue. We have clear problems in assessing. We do ignore this. And of course, there will never be universally agreed indicators or measures. And definitely, one size or one indicator will not fill all the shoes, because I think social sciences should be different from pure sciences or natural sciences, and so on and so forth. So we can go on. So academic productivity and research productivity are different. And one of the things that I have noted over the years is that during this own system, we are learning to cheat the system. And I think some of those things cross barriers of ethical boundaries. And whether it should become academic fraud or not should be debated and agreed upon as an intellectual community in time to come. And then, of course, its applicability to Sri Lanka and developing countries. So, this is my reference. I was reading about academic productivity, and I probably acquired a lot more knowledge because of your theme, but I understand that it's a lot more complicated and a complex theme than what I thought of it 1 year back. when we approved this in Senate, or nearly, or maybe 9 to 12 months back. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for inviting me to be chief guest, and thank you for the entire community which are responsible for organizing this event for today. And I wish to thank my close friend and colleague, Professor Janaka De Silva, for that wonderful lecture. And obviously, I think it is a good model to monitor on how much it would be academic productivity and set gold standards. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. We cordially invite the chairperson of the Academic Sessions and Vice Chancellor's Awards 2024, Senior Professor Mangala De Silva, to present our chief guest and Vice Chancellor of the University of Ruhuna, Senior Professor Sujeev Amarasena, with a token of appreciation.
We are delighted to have with us Professor Saman Senavira of the Faculty of Agriculture as our orator this morning, whose oration is titled Plant Responses to Elevated Carbon Dioxide Concentrations, Understanding the Implications for Global Food and Nutrient Security. We cordially invite the Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture, Senior Professor Sudas Divaniarachi, to officially present the citation of our invited orator, and therein invite Professor Senavira to deliver the oration.
It is my pleasure and honor to introduce a colleague who has made an outstanding contribution to the field of science. Professor Saman Senavira is currently the Chair Professor of Agricultural Engineering and Environmental Technology at the Faculty of Agriculture, University of Ruhuna. He is a distinguished figure in plant science, renowned for his extensive research on climate change biology and its implications for global agriculture and sustainability. He has significantly contributed to understanding plant responses to climate change, particularly rising carbon dioxide concentrations, water limitations, and temperature increases, positioning him as a pioneer in his scientific field. Professor Senavira received his BSc in Agriculture from the University of Ruhuna, and immediately after graduating, he joined the National Institute of Fundamental Studies as a junior research associate. Driven by his passion for plant science, he pursued a PhD in plant physiology at the University of Western Sydney in Australia, focusing on how rising carbon dioxide concentrations influence photosynthetic carbon metabolism. Throughout his career, Professor Senavira has held several prestigious academic and leadership positions at institutions including the University of Melbourne, the University of Southern Queensland in Australia, Tohoku University in Japan, University of Illinois in the USA, and the National Institute of Fundamental Studies, NIFS, in Sri Lanka, where he served as the Director, CEO. Professor Senavira's academic portfolio is enriched by his supervision of over 40 PhD and a large number of master students, highlighting his commitment to mentoring the next generation of scientists. As the head of the National Institute of Fundamental Studies, he oversaw more than 100 graduate students, PhDs and MPhils at a time. His teaching spans undergraduate and postgraduate levels, integrating research insights into the curriculum to bridge theoretical knowledge with practical applications. His research excellence is evidenced by over 250 peer-reviewed publications, including articles in prestigious journals such as Nature and Science, and an H-index of 48. Professor Senavira's work has been internationally recognized, placing him within the top 2% of scientists globally, according to the Stanford University World Scientist ranking for 5 consecutive years. Furthermore, he is the top agricultural scientist in the country according to the AD ranking. Notably, he is the principal or lead author in more than 50% of his publications, with over 7,500 Google citations, demonstrating genuine leadership in the field. His research has significantly advanced scientific understanding and directly impacted agricultural systems and policies, enhancing food security and sustainability. As a leader in international research projects and programs, Professor Senaveera has successfully secured funding totaling over $20 million, supporting large-scale initiatives to mitigate climate change adverse effects on agriculture and improve crop resilience and productivity. Professor Senaveera's work extends beyond the scientific community, reaching the general public and influencing policies and practices towards sustainable living standards. Through his research and public engagement, he has contributed to a broader societal understanding of the importance of sustainable agriculture practices and challenges of climate change. Having served at universities and research institutes outside Sri Lanka for over 3 decades, Professor Senaveera joined the Faculty of Agriculture, University of Ruhuna, in September 2023, realizing a long-cherished ambition of serving his alma mater, the University of Ruhuna. In essence, Professor Senaveera is a leading figure in plant science whose academic and research endeavors have profoundly impacted the fields of agriculture and sustainability, continuing to inspire and guide global efforts towards more sustainable and food-secure future. With that introduction, let me now invite Professor Saman Senaveera to deliver his oration. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Wanyarachi, and Venerable Mahasangha, and the Vice Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellor, and all professors and other dignitaries. And first of all, thank you very much for giving this opportunity to talk to you, just touching some of my experiences being quite new into the University of Ruhuna. And I thought it's a great opportunity to talk to you. And again, I want to thank you, Professor Mangal and team. They put a nice venue together, and it was very fascinating and very interactive. And thank you very much again for the opportunity to talk to you today. And I'm, as Professor Wanyarachi introduced, and my talk is very much into the how climate change impact on our biosphere, and also how, and specifically on plant. And then I talk about especially I pick up the CO2 because that's a area I work over last 3 decades, and how we can understanding of fundamentals of this CO2 science can take into the address the global food security and nutrient security and some concerns we have experiences. And first of all, I want to say the planet Earth is a very beautiful place. We haven't heard anything similar to this kind of place. We have an average temperature of 15 degrees C, and also the nitrogen concentration is around 78%, and the oxygen we have nearly 20%. And luckily, we have a 0.04% of the CO2. This is a current CO2 concentration. In fact, this was being very less than that, this number. But unfortunately, CO2 concentration is rising in the atmosphere exponentially, which is we don't see any slowdown of increase of this element in the atmosphere. And one thing we need to remember, that the CO2, without CO2, this biosphere and atmosphere connections start from the CO2. The whatever we eat, whatever we consume, and all the carbon need to come through in one stage, it got to be CO2 and need to come through that process. So that's we need to remember. We cannot completely ignore is a CO2 as a greenhouse gas. And if you see last 400,000 years ago, 400,000 years, the CO2 concentration never been over 300 parts per million on the Earth atmosphere. And then you can see the pattern of the temperature change is exactly follow the CO2 change and the temperature change on the spot. And but when CO2 concentration rises, you can see the temperature also increase in the atmosphere. But if we see last 70, 80, after the Industrial Revolution, you can see how CO2 concentration increased in the atmosphere, and CO2 is now reached up to 422 parts per million, which is very significant. This all happened in the during the Industrial Revolution. And that's only not the other issue is that the CO2 concentration expected to increase by at least another double by the end of the century. That means at least it will touch 700 parts per million. And temperature expected to increase on the Earth atmosphere on an average by 2 to 4 degrees C. And also we are going to experience intermittent drought and flooding. What we experience quite a lot here today are going to be more and more in the future. And again, as I said, CO2 is a primary substrate for the photosynthesis. This is a biosphere and atmosphere connection, the point. And we need to remember this thing as well when we're mitigating, when we're addressing the climate change. And what I want to say is the very first, we did not talk about the climate change, and I had the opportunity to work with CO2, and I use CO2 as a tool to understand the very physiological function of plant carbon and nitrogen metabolism, how photosynthesis take place under enriched CO2. At that time we said, I wrote in my publications in a 350 parts per million CO2 concentration in the atmosphere in 1994. And today, still I continue to work, and today I write 4,420 parts per million CO2, and which I have documented 20% increase in the atmospheric CO2 concentration in the atmosphere. And this is a very significant, this is one way, it's a substrate, and this has a significant impact on the global warming. And over the last 3 decades, my major questions was on how the rising CO2 impact on the plant biology, and especially the physiological functions like photosynthesis, respiration, and water use efficiency, and how those parameters impact on the growth, yield, and yield formation, and further, like how this change impact on the quality of our food and the vegetables what we eat today. And so then come up with how these changes impact, especially coming in the area of the quality aspects, are going to address using what kind of tools we need to use to address, and what kind of the methodology we need to adapt, etc. And so then we want to take this one broader into the global, develop a global strategy to address not only our food security, it's a global food security and nutrient security. And so perhaps you are not familiar with this kind of tools that we use for the climate studies. And so here I want to show few the experimental models that we use. We do in the growth chamber, enclosed systems, because CO2 is a very, need to manage very correctly, and we do has enclosed chambers, and also we do the gradient, CO2 gradient tunnels, you can see here. And also this is a type of the experiment models are the open top chambers. This is a massive chamber sitting in the middle of the forest, and we study whole biological functions, what is going on inside, and generate those data, to model the climate and model the food production and model the biological response to biological system response to future climate. And also we do have a called free air CO2 enrichment facility here, you can see, and where we can enrich whole atmosphere to a CO2, and we create whatever the environment we require, like a water limited or temperature or whatever. We can basically mimic the future climate in the field. This is the latest technology, and one of the very costly technology. Unfortunately, we have not done such kind of experiment in tropical latitudes. We are largely dependent on all the data from subtropical latitudes. And I was very fortunate to involve and develop this experiment in Australia. And I have 20 minutes, but I will quickly go through. And this is the kind of a experiment set up in the field, and we have a large supply of CO2 in the field. You can see how the CO2 is enriched, and then this is a large experiment. To run this experiment alone, we need the CO2 or roughly $2 million of CO2 per year. That's a kind of a cost, excluding other things. And again, I involved with this experiment. This is a Japanese phase experiment, Japanese free air CO2 enrichment study. And this is also a fantastic model and generated beautiful data that world required. And this is, again, it's another experiment. It's involved in the United States. This we call SOIPACE, University of Illinois at Chicago. And so like that, we have 28 experiments around the world. And this experiment, whatever the data we see today in the literature or wherever or modeling, need to generate from this experiment. So this is a very unique set of data, and this data is very essential. So unfortunately, we don't have in a tropical latitude anything. So we really need to, I think we need to think about it. And key finding coming from this whole experimental the processes, like especially more into the subcellular responses. Like this is very important. The CO2 concentration when increased, photosynthesis increase in most of the plant. Nearly 95% of plants in the plant kingdom belongs to C3 biochemistry, and the photosynthesis will increase. And it will double. It's when it will increase up to at least CO2 increase to level of 700 parts per million. And when CO2 increase, the photorespiration, which is a waste process, that also decrease. And subsequently, the water use efficiency of the plant increase. This is the CO2 has three positive response. All three of them are very positive response in terms of the crop productivity. This is what happened to the CO2, what happened to how water use efficiency increased. It suppressed, it's reduced the stomatal size. And this is actually, again, the work done with one of our Ruhuna University colleague. And when also this graph shows how when temperature and the CO2 interact in response to with connection with the photosynthesis. When temperature increases and also the CO2 concentration increase, you can see that interaction is very important in terms of the crop response to future climate. If you see here, when the temperature reach over 30 degrees C and then start to slow down the photosynthesis and other physiological processes, and which lead to reduce the crop productivity. So this is the very fundamental of in the climate response, the plant response to agriculture response to climate change, and this interaction drive the whole global food production and the food quality. And so this is when you go further down and going to the subcellular level response, perhaps this font size is a bit smaller, and what we see is the CO2, when CO2 rises, the photosynthesis increase, and plants' carbon and nitrogen metabolism whole change, and also cell function change, and also the plant's hormonal function change. These are the key things we figure it out in the future climate, and which lead to the yield improvements, the change of the growth yield response, and also its impact on the quality aspects of the grain, and which has this is a very simple thing, but again, which has a huge global consequence on the food production and the quality of the cereals and pulses what we eat tomorrow. And we all interest what happened to the yield. The yield is very important in terms of food security. What we see is, again, this graph is a very unique graph. This data generated from the Japanese space experiment. What we see when there is a nitrogen, excess nitrogen, we can see the greater growth, the yield response to elevated CO2. But overall, yield is much better at elevated CO2, and nitrogen facilitated, in fact, more to get under high nitrogen to get more yield response. So in the case of the wheat, I always work with these two crops because these two are the most important cereals in the world, and when they put into the high CO2, this is again what percentage the enhancement under elevated CO2 at different cultivars, different wheat cultivars. You can see nearly increase of 24% of the yield increase, and there is a large difference of genetic difference, but in this case we have very limited varieties. But what we learned is that there is a big genetic differences. That difference we can capture for breeding in the future breeding program to increase and capture the CO2 effect into our breeding program and increase the crop yield potential. So as I pointed out very beginning that the CO2 and temperature interaction, this is a classic example. You can see when you grow plants, and we can see under different temperature regimes and different CO2 conditions, you can clearly see how CO2 and temperature interaction here. When CO2 alone increase the growth yield response of rice, and when the temperature goes 4 degrees more, and that initial stimulation of the yield completely disappear. So it's a wipe off the CO2 advantage we would not get if the temperature increase at the expected magnitude. So if the temperature goes beyond the 35 degrees more for a couple of days, 3-5 days, the completely wipe off the yield of anything, especially during the flowering time. If something happen, such kind of heat spell develop, so we will lose the whole productivity, and this is going to become common now. And so putting all the data, this is we have contributed for this prediction, this model, and what we see is how will be the future, the food security in the world, and 2000, you can see 2050 is we going to have really this part of the world, the climate change going to have a major impact on the food security, especially in this part of the world. And we predict that 10% of the yield will be lower especially in the tropical latitudes. And not only that, the population will be more, and the global population will be another 2 billion more population. And this together we have a huge challenge to tackle in the future, 30-40 years time. And this is the most important area that we have neglected, and nobody talk about the nutrient security. Now is picking up, and in our food system we have already identified proteins are less, and also micronutrients, especially zinc and iron, are being heavily depleted. And so this is not only for us, this is a global problem. And for example, if we see here, about 2 billion people are deficient with zinc and iron. And this is all nearly, the most of people are dependent on, mainly this main source of this nutrient are cereal and pulses. And simply because their nutrient value been heavily depleted over the years. This is a classic example you can see after the Industrial Revolution, the Green Revolution. After we can see grain yield increase is nearly triple or 4 times, and one is see the grain zinc concentration. This again in the wheat is substantially decreased, and same with iron concentration decrease because we look at the focusing on the yield, but we never look at the other component of the grain. This is a big mistake we have done. So it is time to correct. And as said, this is the story. It's a breeding more focus, and extensively, we adopt high yielding varieties, and some soil system inherently low these nutrients, and the CO2 also play a major role. This is the fundamental of what we see today, the low quality and of the cereals and pulses in the world. In fact, this is the first report in the world. It's a very small paper, but I published in 1990, around 1997, in fact, and so we said that in the future, the zinc and the iron going to be lower in our grain system. And then this is under, again, elevated CO2. When the growth plants under elevated CO2 is substantially decreased. And this is the document they taken to when the Kyoto Protocol draft. And so then recently we pull all the data together, all the plants we got interested, rice, especially in this rice, we grow in the free air CO2 enrichment system. And what we see is there is a large difference in a reduction in the micronutrient, especially zinc and iron concentration in the grains. So the good news is that there is a genetic difference. There are some crops, some cultivars, they do not change the micronutrient. We can learn that biologics from here, and we can import into the future plant breeding programs. And this is together with this is again like a consortium. We got together, and the number of phase experiments, and also we collected all the published data, and we recently published this document in the Nature. And what we demonstrate is the zinc and iron and the protein is substantially decreased. And we took the message to the rest of the world to address this issue immediately. Now we have set up several task forces, for example, Harvest Plus and the Gate Foundation, etc., to working on this to address this micro and micronutrient deficiency in the world. And I want to share with one of the case study, like in my research team, and we try to address this issue. This is one case study, and so we can go couple of lines. One is more into the genetics line to understand the functionality of this nutrient uptake, transport, and loading into the grain, and go into the very much a biological line. And the other one is a more biophysical line to get the micronutrient back into the grain. And also agronomical intervention. This, we do three approach together. What we have, this is, for example, how the zinc in a wheat grain, you can see is a more reddish, the more zinc the most of the zinc is sitting in the outer aileron layer. It does not get into the inner endosperm of the grain. So we need to get this zinc into the inner endosperm of the grain. So this is the most challenging thing. And again, what we see even in the wheat, we see large genetic variability of zinc accumulation in the grain. And we characterize how they're taken up, how they transport, how they load into the grain. And I'm not going to go into the very detail. And what we did is we use synchrotron X-ray fluorescence microscopy. This is a very unique facility in Australia. And we map whole ionome in the grain and pin down what's going wrong, where it's, the changes occur, etc. in the whole grain. And this is a grain cross section, and particularly we found that one in a green in a area called green crease region. This is the main, we identify main bottleneck of zinc loading into the grain happen, and then we later on we characterize the whole that region is what are the how it limit the how that loading process been affected by different like genetics component. And this is again in this experiment we use two different the wheat cultivar that has a high, one cultivar is a high zinc accumulator, other one is a less zinc accumulator. And from all what we learned that the chemistry and the size and the shape and the structure of the crease of the grain crease play a crucial role in a zinc loading into the grain. We submit this work into the Nature very recently. And the very quickly, this is a kind of we also characterize the whole genetic behavior and anatomical nature, and also the key factors contribute for the loading into the zinc loading into the grain. And it's very I don't have a lot of time to go into the detail, but this is very promising results, and I'm sure that one it would make a major contribution for the biofortification, especially zinc biofortification in the future. And apart from that, we use a more phenotyping approach and genotyping and transcriptomic, metabolomic, and also proteomics approach to reassemble the wheat and rice genome to get the right the grain quality back into our cereals and pulses. And so this is the main messages from all the work. And we want to address the yield gap that can be, there is a lot of information that CO2 driven, the CO2 response, we are in a process of capturing into rice breeding program. And the nutrient issue is one of the things, zinc, iron, and protein, that's also been addressed, and we dissect the fundamental mechanism, and we are now in the process of putting back to some of the information into the rice and wheat genome, and developing a climate resilient crops. And overall we want to contribute, we want to take this information, and we want to get policymakers involvement to address the global food and nutrient security. And it's not only us, for us, it's a global challenge. Thank you very much. I will stop from here.
Thank you, sir, for that very informative oration this morning. We cordially invite our chief guest, the Vice-Chancellor, Senior Professor Sujeev Amarasena, accompanied by the Chairperson of the Academic Sessions and Vice-Chancellor's Awards 2024, Senior Professor Mangala De Silva, to present our orator, Professor Saman Senavera, with a token of appreciation. Distinguished guests, it is indeed time now for another important aspect of this morning's proceedings, the conferment of Professor Emeritus in recognition of the unstinted contribution of our eminent professors for the University of Ruhuna and the nation at large. The University of Ruhuna at the Academic Sessions and Vice Chancellors Awards 2024 bestows the title to two distinguished scholars, Senior Professor L.P. Jayatissa and Senior Professor S. Subasinghe today.
I cordially invite the Secretary of the Academic Sessions and the Vice Chancellors Awards 2024 and the Librarian of the University of Ruhuna, Mr. Nimal Hettiarachchi, to officially present the citation of Senior Professor L.P. Jayatissa on behalf of the organizing committee, after which the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ruhuna, Senior Professor Sujeeva Amarasena, will confer the title Professor Emeritus.
Good morning. I am reading a citation of Professor L.P. Jayatissa as a member of organizing committee. Mr. L.P. Jayatissa, born at Megahatanna in Pastunkorla and received his primary and secondary education from Megahatanna Mahavidyalaya and Matugama Ananda Sastralaya respectively. He entered the university, Ruhuna University College, Matara, in 1979 as a student of the second batch of the newly established University of Ruhuna. To follow the Bachelor of Science degree program, then 1982, he graduated with a basic general degree with second-class lower divisions, which was awarded by University of California. After the graduation, he got opportunity to start his career as either testing officer in Bureau of Ceylon Standard or temporary research assistant in University of Ruhuna under the supervision of Professor Alawattagoda Premadasa. Then he selected temporary research assistant post, showing his enthusiasm for the studies in research. In 1987, Mr. Jayatissa completed his MPhil degree in plant ecology, and then 1989 he joined the Department of Botany, University of Ruhuna as an assistant lecturer probationary. He got an opportunity to read for a PhD in ecotoxicology from Stirling University, UK, and became a senior lecturer in the Department of Botany after completing PhD in 1994. Dr. Jayatissa was promoted to the post of professor in botany in 2008. As a senior academic of the university, Professor Jayatissa fulfilled his duties and all three ways expected from university academics. He was popular lecturer and renowned researcher in plant ecology as well in environmental toxicology. He was the first in Sri Lanka who reported toxic cyanobacteria in Sri Lanka freshwater and with help of his collaborators in UK. Furthermore, Professor Jayatissa was able to isolate characteristic cyanobacterial toxins from strains isolated by him. He was prominent researcher in mangrove ecology also, as evident from his publication as well as a series of foreign grants he received for mega projects. After the other, until his retirement, those grants helped immensely for the capacity and human resource development of the faculty, providing even research vehicle for the Faculty of Science. He is recognized as a researcher is indicated best by his position in ranking of world scientists by AD Scientific Index Limited. He secured the third highest position among researchers in the whole university. This situation paved the way from him to become the first dean of the Faculty of Graduate Studies, University of Ruhuna. And he had a lead faculty as Dean of 3 terms. In addition to teaching, research, and university development, he has contributed to the national services also through a member of various committees at national level. He was first chairman of NSBM, Homagama, and he served in the position for 3 years period. Professor Jayatissa has served as a director of Chief Executive Officer of the University College of Mathura at the end of his service period in University of Ruhuna. His pioneer effort to prevent use of fake or predatory publication by university academics to get their promotions comes to the top of his national service. And almost all state universities, Sri Lanka, as well as CVCD, are still getting benefit from his second knowledge on the subject. Recently, the Journal of National Science Foundation, the only SCI journal in Sri Lanka, invited him to write an editorial on fake or predatory journals for their journals. Professor Jayatissa and his team has conducted extensive survey on the level and extent of predatory publication by university academics in Sri Lanka. Even though that research deserves SCI publication, he never tried to publish it any local or international journal. Furthermore, Professor Jayatissa is the writer of popular articles for mainstream newspapers in Sri Lanka, but he hasn't written yet any newspaper article to make the general public aware on the level of fake or predatory publications by university academics in Sri Lanka. All his effort is to educate problems of predatory publication while protecting the credibility of university academics. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you, sir. I now cordially invite the Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture, Senior Professor Sudas D. Vanyarachi, to officially present the citation of Senior Professor S. Subasinghe, after which the Vice Chancellor of the University of Ruhuna, Senior Professor Sujiva Amarasena, will confer the title.
Professor S. Subasinghe received his BSc degree in agriculture from the University of Ruhuna in 1982, MSc from Asian Institute of Technology in Thailand, and a PhD from the University of Ruhuna. He started his career at the Faculty of Agriculture by joining the academic support staff in 1985 as a field teaching assistant in the Department of Agronomy, and he was later promoted to academic staff and retired in September 2023 as a senior professor in crop science after 38 years of dedicated service to the University of Ruhuna. Professor Subasinghe served as the head of the Department of Crop Science and Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture of the University of Ruhuna. Professor Subasinghe also served as a member of the Council of the University as a Senate nominee, President of the International Society of Minor Fruits, Medicinal and Aromatic Plants, Editor-in-Chief of the Tropical Agriculture Research and Extension Journal published by Faculty of Agriculture, and Chairperson of the Board of Study in Agriculture of the Faculty of Graduate Studies, University of Ruhuna. He has also contributed as a chairperson and a member in many faculty and university level committees. Professor Subasinghe has made a significant contribution to the development of the Department of Crop Science and the Faculty of Agriculture. His contributions span a diverse array of fields, including agronomy, horticulture, tropical farming systems, medicinal herbs, and protected agriculture. Considering his significant contributions in teaching, research, postgraduate supervision, administration, outreach activities, and national development, on the recommendation of the Faculty Board of Agriculture, the Senate of the University of Ruhuna has approved the conferment of the status of Professor Emeritus to Professor S. Subasinghe with effect from October 1st, 2023. With this introduction, let me now invite Vice Chancellor to confer Professor S. Subasinghe the status of Professor Emeritus in the University of Ruhuna. Thank you and congratulations.
Thank you, sir. With that momentous juncture, we are nearing the end of this eventful morning of the inaugural ceremony of the Academic Sessions and Vice Chancellor's Awards of the University of Ruhuna 2024, nurturing excellence in research, boosting empowerment, oriented advances in academic productivity. Last but not least, to deliver the vote of thanks, we cordially invite the Secretary of the Academic Sessions and Vice Chancellor's Awards 2024 and the Librarian of the University of Ruhuna, Mr. Nimal Hettiarachchi.
Venerable Mahasangha, Vice Chancellor, Deputy Vice Chancellor, Keynote Speaker, Professor Chancellor, Chairperson of the Academic Session and Vice Chancellor Awards 2024, Deans of the Faculties, Registrar, all academic staff members, bursar, and all guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Organizing Committee, it is my privilege to deliver the vote of thanks for this remarkable occasion, the Academic Sessions and Vice Chancellor's Awards 2024. First and foremost, I extended my sincere gratitude to Senior Professor Sujio Amarasena, Vice Chancellor of University of Ruhuna, for honoring us with your presence as the chief guest of this occasion. Your participation has significantly enriched the event, making it both memorable and meaningful. Next, I sincerely appreciate Vidya Jyoti Professor Janaka Silla, Emeritus Professor at the University of Kelaniya, for joining us and delivering insightful keynote speech. Dear sir, your knowledge and wisdom have greatly contributed to the value of our event. Then, we are grateful to Senior Professor E.P.S. Chandana, Deputy Vice Chancellor of the University of Ruhuna, for serving as a guest of honor. Your enlightening address has inspired us and our academic community. Especially, I should express my heartfelt gratitude to Senior Professor Mangala Silla, Chairperson of the Academic Session and Vice Chancellor Awards 2024, for his exceptional leadership and to the success of this event. Also, I should especially thank to Professor Saman Senavira for his enlightening oration. Also, my heartiest congratulations to the Vice Chancellor Award winners whose dedication and hard work have been recognized and celebrated today. Congratulations to the recipients of University of Ruhuna Tier 4 Star Awards and the Best Presenter Awards recipients for their outstanding contribution. Also, I would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to Professor Asoka Deepananda, Dean, Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Science and Technology, for generously providing venue and all other arrangements for today's event. Next, I express my sincere appreciation to Professor Channa Yahatugada from Faculty of Medicine, the Chief Editor of Academic Sessions, for his invaluable guidance and leadership in curating the scholarly content of our event. Moreover, I should thank to our talented students who presented the cultural event today, and those items were delightful addition to our program. Also, I should thank to dancing team which added colors to our ceremony. Also, my heartfelt gratitude goes out to deans of the faculties and all the academic members, all individuals and team in all various technical supporting services, reviewers, panel members, all the organizing committee members, registrar, bursar, engineers, maintenance team, cleaning staff, food riders. Your dedication and hard work have ensured the smooth and successful execution of this event. Especially, I should thank all the academic and non-academic staff members of the library and faculty of graduate studies for their great support to success the event. Finally, I extended my sincere appreciation to all participants, volunteers, and attendees for their support and contribution to making academic session 2024 a memorable and successful event. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Thank you. With that, distinguished guests, we have come to the conclusion of the inauguration ceremony of the academic sessions and Vice Chancellor's Awards of the University of Ruhuna 2024. Kindly note that technical sessions comprise of 7 sessions, including the 2 poster sessions, which will take place from 1 p.m. after lunch. You are most welcome to attend the sessions of the conference at the venues of the Faculty of Fisheries and Marine Sciences and Technology of the University of Ruhuna. The details of the sessions are stipulated in the conference agenda booklet. We thank you once again for your participation at this inauguration, and we wish you all the best with the sessions.
Distinguished guests, please rise for the national anthem.
Thank you.